the beautiful story of a tenacious vendor, seller of ours, Predrag LONCAR. Stay tuned for the story.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael BURGIO, Mark Novak, special guest Predrag with us today. A very interesting story, and also I think a very common story, especially around the northern beaches in many sort of communities, especially Italian, Greeks, where you buy a home, you do your renovation, you build your granny flat, and we've just sold it as well in Manly Vale. So many avenues we can go down with this conversation, which I think will resonate with a lot of people. So Predrag, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, boys. Be with the alpha team in the real estate is always good.
Beautiful. And Mark, always a pleasure. So where do you like, the home was purchased 2007. I'm just looking at a couple photos, and it wasn't the prettiest home on the street, but it definitely looked like it was a couple of weeks ago. Let me share the screen here. Predrag's gone, but I'll bring it up here. Look at this.
All right, so this is where this story begins. So, and it wasn't a big price either back then. They purchased it 7 years ago, and they purchased it for $835,000.
Yeah, $835,000.
Predrag will be back in a second, I'm sure. $835,000. It was a basic home. So you got a couple of photos there.
Yeah, I already had the basic ones. Here's what it turned to. So. Okay, that's done. Predrag back.
So it was a little cottage, very nice.
Predrag, did you always want to build? Was that always the plan, to buy and build?
Hi, boys. Yeah, I disappear on the moment. Sorry for that. Like anything in my life, doesn't go so easy and smooth. But anyway, we win on the end. Sorry, what I missed.
So tell us, was it always a plan to build a new home at Manly Vale when you bought it for $835,000?
Yeah, look, the road was pretty bumpy and the dreams was big, but yeah, I think like every boy, I had the dream to have my own house and to build that house. That was the a dream coming true. Yeah, in 2013 when we bought the house.
I'll continue the story till Predrag comes back, or parts of it anyway. So what these guys did, which was really interesting, is because they're a family of four, they had to work out how they could not spend money on renting because they couldn't afford to rent something while they were building. So what they actually did was they built a granny flat in the backyard of the property, which was about this day and age, that granny flat will cost them about $150,000. 200,000. We'll find out in a sec what Predrag actually bought that for, but that was great because the family actually went and lived in that while they started building the main house. Now, again, if you're following the story, they bought the house only for $835,000 7 years ago. I'm going to really enjoy telling you the sales price. I'm going to leave that to Predrag to tell you the sales price of what we just sold it for. But pretty nice house they ended up doing at the front. Hey, Burge?
Yep, beautiful, rendered new. Go on. Yeah.
So it was 2-story. It was done in blue board, so it wasn't a brick home. We call that lightweight construction. So that makes it a lot less to build. So it was lightweight build. Upstairs 4 bedrooms, downstairs 1 living room, 1 dining room, but a good fit out. Have you got a photo of what they've actually ended up building now on the property?
I had it
It's
up.
definitely a lot.
The link, but I had it before. I cycled through all the photos.
Okay.
So people will see it.
So it's a really, really nice job bringing Predrag back in. Now, Predrag, I've just talked about you building the granny flat. How much did it cost for you as a builder to build the granny flat?
Should I say the secrets? All other builders will be upset with me.
Reveal all secrets this morning.
Secrets of the trade. Look, I have to say that I have lots of the help from family, and the granny flat when we built, we had the budget of 62,000, and with the 62,000, we managed to do the entire granny flat.
Plus your labour.
Of course, plus my labor, but do we really counting ourselves in a calculation? Never. I don't think we
Builders
count.
don't. Builders
Yeah,
don't.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so you bought for 835,000. You did you originally live in the house or rent the house out, or what is that front house?
Well, what we did for time being, we rented the front house until we get the planes ready, and we kind of took the time to realize exactly what to do and what is the scenario working best for us. Then then we moved in a house. We just did a small refurbishment. Me and my wife, we went to rip off the carpets, did the painting, spend the weekends, nights around tidying up and fixing everything. Then
Yep.
we live in a house for quite some time. We love that old beauty. Um, then we actually start planning and working on a granny flat. Um, the granny flat was the project that we initially think, all right, this will be our income will help us with the mortgage and everything else, and that's what we did. We finished the granny flat, then we moved in a granny flat, and we stay in a granny flat for quite some time until we accumulate enough of the funding to do the house. And then we
So,
started.
Predrag, if I could just ask if you could bring the camera speak a little bit louder. One of the guests has asked if you could speak a little bit louder. So how long did you live in the granny flat for?
We live about 2 years in a granny flat. Before then, we start
Okay.
the house. We start the house in a late 2017, and in 2018 we finished the house and moved in. And that was the kind of transition that we have.
And how long did it take to build the house?
House went quite quickly. You know what? That was the lots of the nights without the sleep. I was so excited to start to do it, and yeah, when we started, we was working like 16 hour a day, and everybody was lined up for the couple of months in advance, um, and everything went so smooth. We started with the CDC. We actually did the major renovation of the house, and then we knew that none of the parts of the house, actually some of the parts of the house, will not fit with the CDC, and we already know that we will have to go through the DA process, where we had that a 3 to 4 months of break, which was actually working good as well, to kind of breathe a little bit, look around, see what you want. Do you want to change something? Do you want to do differently? Give you a little bit heads up on the next stage, and that's where we started then. And yeah, it went pretty well. But the one interesting part of this story, actually back to the old house and to the neighborhood, that I have to say, when we bought the house, this was 2-bedroom house. But
Yep.
on the first and second inspection, we never saw that second bedroom. We didn't realize that there is a second bedroom. We always, I was absolutely convinced that I bought the one bedroom house. And
At auction.
Yeah. But auction was something amazing. I will never forget. It was the trauma of my life. And
Really?
it was. But luckily,
I was there with you.
At that day, I had the strong support next my side who got me very well. And look, I have to say thank you, because without you, many things many dreams wouldn't come true. But yeah, it's
Well, in order to get into that house, you had to sell a unit or two to get into the house, which was only 7 years ago. Now, Predrag, you finished the house. You finished the house at the front. You then decided to rent out the granny flat where you were living. You got a good rent for the granny flat.
That's correct. The granny flat is really ideal. Originally, I thought maybe to move my parents in, but they decided they will stick with the Divai and stay in the Divai area for quite some time. Then, obviously, the granny flat was ideal to actually, keep it as the income, and that income does help. And I will suggest to all young couples that getting through their first home, go for the granny flat. Today, I will do it a little bit differently. I will probably combine the granny flat under the same roof with the house, simply because lots of the people to the recent sale didn't like that fact that the granny flat is there. And as the granny flat under the same roof does give a bit more opportunities to people, and give them different view of the whole property. Now,
Big lesson. Big lesson.
one small disadvantage with the granny flats separate from the house is that they take the part of your yard. And if you love to have the big backyard, then that's the little bit disadvantage. But from the financial point of view, I will recommend to anyone.
Yeah,
it's a good move. So just to be clear, Predrag, your house was at the front of
Sorry,
back of the block, and it was actually detached. So your house was at the front of the block, and your granny flat was at the back of the block. So there was a yard in between. So your experience after selling is you would combine. You wouldn't do that separately again. You would combine that granny flat, attach it so it's like an L shape on the back of your home, so it can do income or it can be an extended part of your home. That's what you learn.
Mark, you have to take the fact as well that this is the very small block. This is the just 464 square meters block, which means this is the just 4 square meters over the the standard that allow us to have the granny flat. Now,
yes,
when we're dealing with the bigger blocks, 600 square meters, 7, 8, 900 square meters, definitely you can consider they have the separate granny flat. It's a beautiful. Your tenant have the absolute privacy. You have the absolute privacy. You know what? Sometimes you just don't realize that tenant lives there. But we again talking about the big blocks. Now, we've been lucky that both of us, our tenants, been such as nice people, and we have such as beautiful relationship with them. That's why, we really don't have an issue with the granny being so close to the house. But in every instance where it's the small block, I will suggest the people to integrate the granny flat with the house.
Okay. And what type of people rented a granny flat like that from you? You mentioned you had 2 sets of tenants. Who would rent something like that?
Anyone. Honestly, we have so many applications, and with the Manlyvale being Manlyvale and growing significantly, being the upgraded from all sides, Melneyville has become the something that people is just wanting to move in. You know, with the so many um, advantages around this area, the lots of the family people, the couples, singles are showing the interest to stay in the Melneyville area.
You rode a beautiful wave. Now, before we go, the best part of the story I want to share with everyone that's watching. Do you mind me asking how much it cost to build the house?
Again, do you want me to all other builders wait me down on the corner? No, it costs a lot. Look, building the house, it does cost. Um, Now, talking about the building this type of the house with this type finishes, again, I spent over $500,000 as just in the material and the labor that I have to pay out without the single hour of my work.
Mm.
Yep.
So if
Okay.
I did this house for someone else, it
$2
will
million.
be in a high 700.
Okay. Interesting. All right. So the love story. This is how the love story finishes. Almost. You buy the old house for $835 7 years ago. You spend 50 to 100 grand on the granny flat. You spend 500 to 700 on the house. And what did you sell it for?
What the question actually should be what we sell it for, because
What did
it's not,
we sell it for?
you know, the player scored the goal, but the team is playing the game.
Yeah. Cool.
And look, 367 is a magic number.
3,670,000.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one of these crazy things with the market. I think we just entered that period of historical period, I would say, where the housing market did so well, and I never think that we will be in the market of the 3 million. I never thought that we will be even close to 3 million market. I never see myself in there. The
It's
fact that we
incredible.
sold for the 3.67 is absolutely miracle. But did we put lots of the work in it? Yes, we did.
Sweat.
Sweat. And I think that Mark Novak was the one of the people that was the sweating most, because we was kind of hard clients, I would say, and hard vendors. Um, I'm not sure that Michael BURGIO knows, but Mark Novak brought dozens and more than dozens offers to us, and many of them was refused. And one of the major mistakes that people does make today, and as the buyer on the market today, I'm seeing the vendors making the same mistake that we did. And
Which was?
that first couple of weeks, when everybody is excited, when everybody is hot about the market, you always get that, average to good offers. But the expectation of the vendor is so high that they not considering them as the serious offers, and that's the mistake. Consider that your first offers always very seriously, because whoever is a serious buyer, he will actually come first. He will not come as the last, and that's where you're losing lots if you miss that momentum of the market. Now I'm going around looking the properties, and I'm putting the offer for something, and they say, oh, no, 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 no. And I'm just kind of standing back, and I say, buddy, you may regret that, you know.
Yep.
That's the
Often your first offers are the best. Great saying in real estate. Often your first offers are the best. You're spot on.
yeah. But look, like
So,
everybody, nobody is a perfect, and luckily that we have the really good real estate industry around the northern beaches, that we can really rely that people in the northern beaches real estate, they definitely have a lots of the good agents with a very high ethics, and we can rely on them. We can rely that, you know, they're doing the hard job, but on the end of the day, they can't please every single buyer. Um, Lots of the people is around to waste the time, but on the end of the day, what I'm seeing in the last 4 or 5 months is that lots of the real estate is doing the good job, a really good job.
Just
getting
quickly,
good
how
prices
much
out
rent
there.
did you?
So, Predrag, it's a
What was the rent on the granny flat for the first sort of like 5 years? What were we getting towards the end? Was it pretty similar?
Look, yes, it was the pretty similar, but don't forget that we start with a high rent. We started with a high rent, and now
500 a week, 300. What was it roughly?
no, it was the 600. It was the
Beautiful.
600 back. We moved in a house in 2018. That's mean early 2018. That was the when we moved into the front house, and that's
Oh,
when
okay.
we
18.
in
Yep,
the
yep, yep.
2018 600 was quite nice money. Um, but look, you build the relationship with your tenant, and you really don't feel like we got the email from Novak agency about increasing our offer, and I even didn't consult with my wife. I write them back and I say, don't worry about increasing the rent. We are happy with it. How I can do increase the rent to someone that I kind of, you know, become the friend with them, you know.
your neighbour. Your neighbour. So
It's the
just
one
to
that is,
Luke
and the
Moroney's
rent is
commented. Luke's commented that the property doubled in 13 years if you factor in a $1 million build. Just don't forget, Rick, the date purchase was 2013. So it was, you have owned it for 7 years.
Oh, sorry, I put it in 2008. That's my bad. I saw something. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
2013. In the 2013.
2013.
Yeah, and that, yeah, that's correct. That's correct.
Cool,
Yeah.
cool, cool.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had a great story, Predrag. Thank you very much for your time. I think that the takeaways from today that I've learned is that, and we haven't even talked about the actual sales process. So I might have to grab you again, mate. You've been fantastic today. The takeaways from today that I learned was if you are building yourself on a budget, you can save money if you're a builder. If you keep another thing as well, I think, Predrag, if you don't mind me saying, you lived within your means. I think by living in that granny flat, a family of 4 in a 2-bedroom granny flat, you weren't frivolous with your money, and I think that really helped into a big goal at the end. Having said that, the quality and finishes of the home that you did were absolutely premium and probably the best of the best for the suburbs. So you did an amazing job on a budget, which was pretty cool. You rode a beautiful property wave. People may not know, but you actually did similar thing prior with your unit. And you had 2 units prior, so you lived in those, you did those up, and you made good money from that. And mate, this is a beautiful story of someone. When did you come to Australia?
I come in 2006. It was the 28th May 2006, 7:34.
Beautiful.
When we landed on Sydney's airport. And I'm really bad with the numbers, dates, and everything. But this is the the numbers that I will never forget. Yeah, I purchased my first apartment in Grafton Crescent. Grafton Crescent was pretty much area of the divide that was cheapest of the cheapest, and that was the definitely cheapest apartment on the market. I borrowed the $8,400 from my sister, 7 years younger sister, and to complete my deposit and bought that apartment. It was on a rent. They says it's a dual occupancy, and I didn't know what mean the dual occupancy. On that time, my English was on very basic level, pretty much hi bye Coca-Cola. That's where I started, and where I kind of start learning, and there are lots of the people around that helped me up. And if it wasn't for the people around and for the Australian good spirit to adopt the migrants, to help the people, I probably wouldn't be here where I am today. Lots of the Serbian people from Serbian community also helped me up. And then when we bought this apartment, later on people explained me what means the dual occupancy, and I realized that I bought not one, I bought the 2 apartments. And that was the one little studio with the 1 kitchenette and the bathroom, and then was the 1-bedroom apartment. I briefly saw that when I bought it, and when the guy moved out from the 1-bedroom, I went in and I look at it. When I saw that, literally, guys, I sit in one corner and I cry. I cry like baby.
Bonus apartment.
You know what? Not just that, Michael BURGIO, I was scared of what I'm doing in this big world as the small bird, buying the apartment, and the apartment was completely trashed with the pink tiles, with the kitchen, and the carpet was destroyed. How I'm going to do this? Where I'm going to find the money? What I'm going to do? I even was buying some stuff on the eBay to prepare myself for the renovation. I mean, when I say on the eBay, the like from the people, local people buying the second-hand stuff, just to start my life there. And then we renovate that 1-bedroom apartment. We renovate slowly that studio. We put that. And what is the interesting with this building in the Grafton Crescent? That building is old and it's not well, looking good. But the rental income from these 2 apartments was amazing. We received at that stage $725 from these 2 apartments combined. At that stage, we're talking about Divide Parade, Oaks Avenue, Howard Avenue, Pacific Parade. The 3-bedroom apartment was renting approximately close to $550, $600.
Yeah, wow.
Now,
that's another beautiful love story we can tell as well. The purchases of those units.
Yeah.
Congratulations on 14 Seabreeze. That was a beautiful story. I still want to talk about the sale on 14 Seabreeze with you, Pedro. You've been incredible. And also, what a great country for someone to come here in 2006 with a bucket load of courage and a bucket load of hard work attitude. What you've done is a testament to a great person, which you are, and a testament of a great country which this is, and the community and people around you that helped you. Well done, buddy.
Thank you,
hey,
guys.
Pedro.
Look,
that's it.
I didn't come with this knowledge. I learned this here, and I learned from you guys.
Beautiful. That's
You're
all right.
the best.
Thank you, guys.